YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Panthers fans. This is the Black Paul Podcast. I'm your host, Ovi Trev, as always. Now we're going to get into another Carolina Panthers draft discussion. Number 1, he runs a 4.38 40-yard dash. Fastest I've seen out of a linebacker for the last 10 or 20 years. Middle linebackers are getting more athletic. Now, the 2012 draft is a key factor here when talking about if either Derrick Brown should be the pick or will be the pick over Isaiah Simmons. We're looking at Marty Hurney in 2012. That's exactly what correlates with what's going on this year. Okay, Fletcher Cox was considered a top 5 pick in the draft. Luke Kuechly was considered a top 10, top 15 player. Now, me personally, I wanted Fletcher Cox in that draft. He was a disruptive D tackle, could literally change the entire game for us at that point. At middle linebacker, Luke Kuechly was seen as the best coverage linebacker in the last 10 years at the time, and it's possibly still the best linebacker as far as coverage to come out in the draft in the last 7 years after he was drafted. Now, when we're talking about the value of a pick, we're talking about an entire defense that is going through a rebuild. You want that leader on defense in Isaiah Simmons. Middle linebacker is a way more important position than a defensive lineman. Now, don't get me wrong, defensive linemen are a key part of a defense, especially since they are the ones that get it done in the run game. But every position, you can say, is important on defense. But the most important position, you were talking about the quarterback on defense, which is the middle linebacker, the Mike. That's what Isaiah Simmons would be. Now, breaking down the top linebackers position, okay, we're going to go with the top 2019 rated linebackers. So Luke Kuechly, obviously, we all know, first round. Darius Leonard was a second-round pick. Anthony Barr was a first-round pick. Levante David was a second-round pick. Deion Jones was a second-round pick. Bobby Wagner, second-round pick. C.J. Mosley, first-round pick. Now, we're not even getting into the 3-4 technique linebackers or edge rushers that we are used to comparing when we're talking about linebackers because they are slash defensive end. But if we go name a couple of them as well, we're talking about Khalil Mack, first round. Von Miller, first round. Actually, both are top 10 picks in the draft in their years, as well as Ryan Kerrigan. Now, linebackers don't grow on trees. It is extremely hard to find a great linebacker in the later rounds of the draft. And if you're looking at this draft, you're talking about Isaiah Simmons, the number 1 linebacker in the draft, top 10 pick. Next would be Patrick Queen, who's considered a late first round, early second round selection. So you see the discrepancy between the two. Now, it's a clear choice. It's either you're taking Isaiah Simmons or you're taking Derrick Brown. I'm going to put it like this. With either pick, right? The discrepancy between the two, there's not a big one. Derrick Brown could definitely go to the Jaguars, or Javon Kinlaw could go to the Jaguars. There would be no disappointment. Now, breaking down defensive tackles, the top D tackles in the league, it gets kind of tricky with the 3-4 nose tackle and a regular D tackle, but I'm going to start naming some of the top players. Aaron Donald, first round. Cameron Hayward, first round. Geno Atkins, 4th round. Grady Jarrett, 5th round. Fletcher Cox, of course, 1st round. Chris Jones, 2nd. Sheldon Rankins, 1st round. Damon Harrison, undrafted. Jarrell Casey, 3rd round. Jerron Reed, 2nd. KK Short, our very own, 2nd round. Looking at these picks, yes, a lot of the talent comes in the in the 2nd round. A couple come in the 1st. But you also have players that are in the 4th, 5th round, and that are undrafted. Speaking about specific cases. But this is how it plays out ultimately. You have a top defensive tackle in KK Short. To me, a defensive tackle, a second defensive tackle, run stopper, depending on the style of D tackle you're getting, can be replaced. Dontari Pope replaced a couple of cogs on defense that we've had prior in Star Lotulelei, who turned out not to be that type of player we're looking for, who was also considered a top 5 pick at one point. Also, Gerald McCoy. Both previous first-round picks, but at the end of their careers started to fade. Linebackers are good for 10 or 12 years. D tackles, it's rare. It's definitely possible. Like, look at Fletcher Cox. He's still going. Ndamukong Suh is a perfect example. Was a great defensive tackle for his first 5 or 7 years and has faltered. Not saying that that's the case with all defensive tackles. But my point is this. When you're talking about the leader on defense, you're talking middle linebacker directly. Defensive tackles are definitely replaceable. Linebackers are harder to find. So to me, Isaiah Simmons should definitely be the pick. Now, a lot of people wouldn't mind taking Joe Burrow with that pick, or Tua if we happen to trade up. Me personally, I say no. The fact that we got Teddy Bridgewater, I'm looking at Teddy Bridgewater as a bridge quarterback. No pun intended. A bridge QB who we're probably going to tank for Trevor Lawrence next season. But at least we'll get our star captain. So hopefully that plays out that way. But that is all I have for you today. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And I will be dropping more Panthers videos in the future, in the next couple of days even. My next video, I'm going to have a top Panthers draft of all time. We're talking best first rounders the Panthers ever drafted, second, third, all the way up to the seventh. So be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you all for watching again the Black Paul Podcast, and I'll see you next time.